Hello and welcome to another edition of European Football Adda. It's me, Devapam, and along with me, I have Krishnendu. Today, we will be talking about two of the groups of Euro 2024, which is being held in a single country for a long time. In Germany, Unified Germany is hosting its first Euro. It has previously hosted a World Cup in 2006. Italy won it. We will see if that is important for Euro 2024 also, given Italy is also the reigning champions. But before we come to Italy's group, let's look at Group A. Group A usually always consists of the hosts. So this time, Group A consists of Germany, Switzerland, Hungary, and Scotland. Germany as a behemoth of European football, world football, I will say, is and as the host is probably sure shot to qualify to the next round. Or are there questions on the German football team? We'll check that with Krishnendu. The other two teams which have a great time in this group are Switzerland and Hungary. Switzerland are habitual qualifiers from the toughest of the tough groups, and Hungary surprised everyone by their grit and the performance in the previous Euro. And I think Hungary is a sleeping giant that could wake up. And you cannot discount Scotland in this mix altogether. So, Krishandu, firstly, what do you think of the German football team, their situation, their form, playing at home, that kind of pressure? What do you think Julian Nagelsmann is dealing with currently?
I have to agree, this is not the most talented bunch of German footballers we have seen in the last 10 years. It's a team that is far, far away from the team that won the World Cup 10 years ago. Germany were disappointing in their last two World Cup campaigns. And even the European Championship in 2021, they lost to the eternal rivals England in the group. So they are not the best bunch of German footballers we have seen. And Nagelsmann is a very talented coach. But I'm not sure about the amount of quality this Germany team actually has to do well in this tournament. They would probably qualify from the group because the group looks easy on paper, but there are some tough games. Scotland is playing for the first time in 26 years, but they did beat Spain in their qualifiers. If you look at Scotland's qualifying campaign, it was very impressive. They did beat Spain. And in my opinion, Spain is a better team than Germany right now. So it would not be a shock if Scotland tops this group. But I'm not sure about Germany's quality. They are good enough to qualify for the last 16. But beyond that, it depends on the quality of teams they're playing. At this point, they are not one of the favorites to win this tournament, even if it's happening at home.
Yeah. And usually we look at German teams of old times and we look at how many Bayern Munich folks are in there. This time I can count that there are 6 Bayern Munich players. Neuer, Joshua Kimmich, Jamal Musiala, Muller, and then we have Leroy Sané and Alexander Pavlovic.
None of them has had a great season, by the way.
None of them had
none of them had a great season.
None of them had a great season at all. On the contrary, I find that there are almost equal number of VfB Stuttgart players. So Dennis Undav, Maximilian Mittelstadt, Waldemar Anton, Chris Furyk. So there are quite a lot of VfB Stuttgart players. There's not enough again. Your Leverkusen players. I find a couple of them from Arsenal and Brighton Hove Albion. only two from Real Madrid, which is Toni Kroos and Rudiger. Probably they'll bring that winning mentality. How do you see the balance of this team, given that it's not a Bayern Munich driven thing? And then how do you see, probably this is the last time we're probably going to see Toni Kroos in a football tournament? Um, what do you make of that?
The problem with the German team is they do not have a quality striker. If you look at this team, they do not have one quality striker, which is a surprise and a shock, because Germany is known for producing quality center forwards, but don't have one. Dennis Undav is a Brighton Hove Albion reject. He was loaned out to Stuttgart because he was not doing well at Brighton. Thomas Muller is at the end of his career, and he is not a center forward anymore. Maybe he was 10 years back, but not anymore. Where are the goals coming from in this tournament? The midfield looks strong still, as a German midfield should. Defense is shaky. They do not, both at the back and at the front, they do not have enough quality to actually go deep in this tournament and win. But it's happening at home. It's Toni Kroos's last tournament, most probably. So he might stand up and do well. A lot of things have to go right, and a number of teams have to underperform if this Germany team has to go on and win this tournament at home.
Okay, let's come to Switzerland. Switzerland has always punched above its weight. So I like to call Switzerland probably the New Zealand of cricket. So they always showcase, strength in unity. Switzerland and Denmark, these are two teams I never underestimate in a tournament play. This time too, they have got a, good enough team, which, in the rank and file of them, they have some of the players who are playing in pretty big clubs. So we have Borussia Dortmund, we have Inter Milan, we have Manchester City, we have AC Milan, we have Monaco, Bayer Leverkusen. So a lot of big names in there. And some of the surprise packages in Serie A, I think, was Bologna. And Bologna's one of the surprise guys was Dan Ndoye. Very pacey forward. Noah Okafor was somebody who came in at Milan and scored a lot of goals. We still have Granit Xhaka leading the midfield. We still have Shaqiri in the midfield. Remo Freuler pulled a lot of strings in Bologna's Champions League, performance. So, how do you see this team performing?
Switzerland, I always expect Switzerland to make the last 16, regardless of what group they are in, how tough their team is, how bad they look on paper, how good they look on paper. They are one of those teams who are going to eke out one win in the 3 games, and they're going to get a couple of draws and make it through to the last 16. And there is enough quality in this team to actually win the group, to be honest. If Germany underperforms, then there's a chance Switzerland could top this group. But this is one of those groups very hard to call. I can predict one of the third place teams is going to come from this group in the last 16.
True. And then Hungary, which had a gallant fight in 2021, barely missing out after that match with Portugal. They bring together, a team consisting of captain from Liverpool, Zobozalai. They also have Leipzig's Willi Orban and Peter Gulaxi. They have Freiburg's Attila Zalai. So there are a lot of, names which have performed. Milos Kerkez in Bournemouth, who was originally from AC Milan. People who have been there and done that. And they are probably one of the contenders for that third slot that you're talking about.
Yeah, they're one of the contenders for third slot, and they have Hungary's biggest player is, of course, Dominic Szoboszlai. He's a top player, and he has this knack of scoring goals out of nowhere. So there's enough quality in this Hungary team to actually be one of those third place tournaments. But if you look at Scotland too, Scotland also have enough quality, and I think a lot of people are sleeping on Scotland because Scotland haven't been in a major tournament since the '98 World Cup. But if we look at their qualifying, the way they have come through the groups, this is one of those groups that is very hard to call because we don't know what we are going to get from Germany. Switzerland are those perennial qualifiers always, and then there is Hungary and Scotland, who are, you can say, equally good on paper, and they can get one of the shock results against Germany because Germany have lost some very bad games in the major tournaments. We are talking about Japan in 2018. Suddenly lost to Japan and they didn't make it through. And then 2021 they lost to England. So there is a chance this group is going to throw some shocks.
Right. So finally, what is your prediction for this group 1, 2, 3, and 4?
I think I'll go with Germany still because at home they still have enough quality to win a couple of games and top the group. I'm torn between Switzerland and Scotland for second. I really believe Scotland can come second in this group. I'm torn between them two, and third, again, either of the two. If Switzerland finish second, Scotland should finish third. If Scotland finish second, Switzerland should finish third. That's fine. And fourth is Hungary.
I will go slightly different. I will still say Germany, home team. They would probably not win all three. They would probably draw one of that match, probably versus Switzerland. They'll draw it. I am considering Hungary. Like I said, it's a sleeping giant, which is probably waking up. So I am picking Hungary to be number 2 instead of Scotland. I think there will be a tough fight between Scotland and Switzerland for the number 3 spot. Switzerland usually is not a very fast starter, so they'll probably have a few draws, and Scotland could catch up with them. But my reading of this group is Germany 1, Hungary 2, Switzerland 3 by the barest of bare margins. Maybe just maybe not even on goal difference, but maybe on disciplinary ground. Maybe they'll go through, and Scotland will, because they will see a couple of more red cards, Scotland will come fourth in this group. Okay. Let's now move to the more spicy group, which is Group B. Shall we call it in this whole episode probably the group of death? I don't know if it can be a group of death, but 3 big teams. Spain.
There are 3 very good teams, and then Albania.
And then there is Albania. Albania is no pushover also. But yeah, 3 very good teams and Albania. I would say 1 very good team, 1 team which has been a very good team, and another is the defending champion. You never know which Italy will turn up, and then Albania. So what's your reading of the Spanish team, the Spanish current lot of Spanish team? How do you feel? Are they still going through that changeover from the previous generation?
I think this team is still going through a transition period. It's still very good, but there are gaps in this team that they do not have a top center forward. Their defense is still a little shaky. Midfield is good, like all Spain midfields are. There are some very good ball playing midfielders they have, can control games. But if anyone, I don't know how many people watched the Spain-Scotland game, which they lost 2-0 to Scotland. It was, I think Scotland had 20% possession and they defended deep. And it is one of the ways you can stop this Spain team, if you defend deep. Because if you go back to 2010, 2012, they still had David Villa, Fernando Torres, the kind of strikers who can break those top defensive, these deep line defenses with their runs. This team do not have a David Villa or a Fernando Torres who are going to do that. Their midfielders are still very good, but they lack the little bit of cutting edge at the top, which is going to stop them from being the very good team that they can be, but they are not right now at this
point. Right. And then we come to Croatia. Croatia is, for the last 2 World Cups, we have to keep in mind that Italy has not qualified for the last two World Cups, and Croatia has been the runner-up and number 3 for the same two World Cups. Croatia has only twice missed out not qualifying from the group stage of a Euro tournament. The last time that happened was in 2012 when probably Luka Modric was still playing in England. So it was not the same Croatia. Croatia also has had that pain of changing from the previous generation, the generation which took them to the finals in 2018, and trying to change over. We have seen the emergence of young talent like Josko Guardiol, then the goalkeeper Livakovic and Lavrovic. There are other Josip Sotalo, who is 24. There is a 21-year-old midfielder, Martin Baturina. There is a 23-year-old striker, Marko Pasalic, all coming from that same Croatian stable. But it is not the same team because the main pillars are still Luka Modric, who is 38, Marcelo Brozovic, who is now playing his game in Saudi, who is 31. We have a defender, 35-year-old Domagoj Vida, who is now playing in Athens. And in general, you see that the average age has slightly gone up. They have tried to reduce it with some of the names. Like I said, Lukas Susic of Red Bull Salzburg is a very, very skillful midfielder. But these are not the names. Even Perisic, for example, is still a key player and has been chosen here. Perisic is 35. So these are still the names which took them to that pinnacle in 2018 are still present here. Only probably Ante Rebic is missing. Otherwise, all of them are still here. How do you estimate this team? Is it too old? Will they face the same fate as Germany did in the 1994 World Cup? Their age was shown up by Bulgaria in 1994. Will this team also be handed their ass, or do you think that Luka Modric is still capable enough to pull this team through to the next round?
Yeah, Modric, the level of international football that we see these days, Modric is good enough to do that. Modric, this team has enough experience. You can say it's old, but I would say this team has just that enough experience to pull them through. But they won't go all the way, of course. They won't win the tournament. They are not going to. I'm not sure they were going to make the semi-finals, to be honest. But last 16, yeah, this team has enough quality in them. I am torn. The second place will be between Croatia and Italy, to be honest, because I still expect Spain to win this group. It'll be between Croatia and Italy, and Croatia has that tournament knack. Of course, you can say Italy are the defending champions. They should not have won the tournament in 2021, but still did. But Croatia, I think they have that knack of like getting the result that is needed, and they'll do it. They'll get the second spot.
Right. That brings us to the reigning champions of 2021, Italy. A few big names have moved on. So there is no Bonucci, there is no Chiellini, there is no Marco Verratti, there is no Insigne. The group that has come forward here doesn't even have Ciro Immobile. So it's a completely different kind of Italy team. There are no players from AC Milan, just to call it out. On the other hand, we have players from Torino, Bologna. We have players from Sassuolo, which has actually been relegated. We have players from Atalanta and Genoa who have been pulled in, and a lot of the Italian hopes like always is not just on the players, but also on the manager. Spalletti was seen as a visionary manager, but somebody who never won anything. He used to have, he was the person who showed the world what could be done with the false nine with Francesco Totti after the 2006 World Cup. And 2 years down the line, Guardiola borrowed the same concepts and had Lionel Messi playing it. So Spalletti never got that. Or he first played a strikerless formation. He never got the credit for that. Ultimately, Spalletti won with Napoli, breaking another hoodoo of that team, and that is when people woke up to him. Many of the Italian names here, I don't know, Crescendo, if you are familiar with them. For example, Alessandro Buongiorno of Torino, Riccardo Calafiori of Bologna has been a massive player, massive player. Is one of the central points for Bologna's performance in the top four. There are new names like Federico Gatti of Juventus, who was playing Serie C 4 years back. Then Raul Bellanova, who has had stints in Italy and France and now back in Italy. Bellanova started with AC Milan youth, went to France, then went back to Inter Milan, then went to Atlanta, and now he's playing with Torino. So there are a lot of new names. Amidst all of these new names, the oldest possible name here is Jorginho of Arsenal, and Donnarumma, who is now a veteran at 25 with 61 caps, which is the maximum that we have here. We still have Lorenzo Pellegrini and Nicola Barella as the mainstays of the midfield. You can add Brian Cristante to it. Juventus has also produced another very good player, Nicolo Fagioli, who will be playing there. And we already
didn't Fagioli get banned for doping?
No, he did not. He came back after that.
Oh, he came back. No, Fagioli was banned for gambling. Sorry.
Yes. So, how do you see this Italian team from an outside-in perspective? I'll probably provide an inside-out perspective after that.
I think they'll miss Sandro Tonali's presence in the middle of the park. They're going to miss him. I am really excited to watch Calafiori because I have heard a lot of good things about him. I've heard a lot of good things about him, the Bologna team, and Thiago Motta. So I want to see how Calafiori does. And with Spalletti, I get it when you say he played a strikerless formation, because I know the 2006-07 Champions League match between Roma and United that won 7-1. But the first leg we lost at Roma 2-1, if I remember correctly. And I was shocked to see there was no striker. Totti was playing this very free role up front. It was very new to me, and I just remembered that. So yes, Spalletti's team are energetic. That's first thing you have to understand. Spalletti is he's from that school of players, school of managers whose teams are pressed from the front, very energetic, play high energy football. So that is something that we have not associated with Italian teams of the past. So I'm interested in seeing whether they can do that in this European Championship. And yeah, there's some very exciting young players. But yeah, I'm not sure Italy going to finish second. I'm not sure about that. But again, third place team, they can easily qualify from this group.
Yeah.
They'll get one win at least. They'll beat Albania for sure. And then if they can get a couple of draws, so a second place or a third place group thing is there for them, to be honest.
Yeah. If I look at Group B, Italy plays Albania first, then Spain, and then Croatia. Knowing Italy,
I think they can get a draw in Spain. Really do, because the Spain team is not that. They don't have the cutting edge up front, so they can get a draw against Spain for sure.
So
the key game is Croatia.
So knowing Italy and knowing how Italy starts, how they play, the way I see this group developing is Italy will have a 1-1 draw with Albania, after which we will throw everything at the manager and the players. They'll come back for maybe a 2-2 or a 2-1 draw with Spain, and then they will beat Croatia maybe 2-0. So that's how I see the graph. So they'll probably finish with 5 points, and that should be enough either as a second placed or as the third place team to do it.
Third place, yeah.
So I genuinely feel that they'll start with a draw versus Albania and finish with a win versus Croatia. That's how they will qualify. The other thing that I wanted to point out in this Italy team is that out of the 22 players chosen so far, there will be a few more chosen. 11 are 11 players have not played games in double digits. So he has chosen players who are promising, young, or maybe not so young, but promising and are probably in the form players. So that tells me that he is going for form players rather than players by name. So there's no place for Ciro Immobile. But he has chosen Matteo Retegui, who is a 25-year-old Argentine who is now playing for Genoa. Retegui has scored 4 goals in just 7 games. Okay. He has chosen Gianluca Scamacca. Scamacca is a late developer. Scamacca has only 1 goal in 15 games, but you saw how he played in that match against Liverpool in Europa League. So Scamacca is coming to the forefront with Gasperini's guidance. He has chosen players like Andrea Cambiaso from Juventus, who is a left-sided defender. He's just played 3 games. Raul Bellanova has just played 1 game. Ricardo Calafiori just played 1 game. Bongiorno has played just 3 games. So I'm saying even the goalkeepers, Tottenham's Vicario, he has just played 2 games. Alex Meret, Napoli's goalkeeper, he's just played 3 games. So there are so
To be honest, if you have to look at the Italy team, Vicario should start ahead of Donnarumma.
I agree.
He's just a better
Completely
goalkeeper.
Completely agree. Vicario, hands down, has been the best Italian goalkeeper in the recent, present and past. But what I'm seeing from this, and he has chosen a lot of players from teams which have not finished at the top, not finished at the in the top 3, top 4. He has rather gone for players. So that's why somebody like Michael Folorunsho, who is from Hellas Verona, has found a place. Um, I feel that this team could surprise a lot. On the other hand, they may also fall on the backside because there is so much of inexperience. On a really crunch night in Berlin, when things were really tight, it was Andrea Pirlo and Alessandro Del Piero who turned that magical semi-final against Germany. Whether Jorginho, who habitually misses so many crucial penalties, or Donnarumma, who is the captain of the team at 25 and has played the maximum number of games, is equal to it, I'm not sure. Also, that
Donnarumma is a very suspect goalkeeper, to be honest. He's just not good enough.
Yeah, if Donnarumma,
I have seen Vicario for a season. Vicario is a top goalkeeper.
If there was anybody other than Donnarumma in the goal, Italy probably would have gone to the 2022 World Cup. Let me say that.
Yeah.
So also missing out on the defensive stability of Bonucci and Chiellini, and hoping that people like Bongiorno, Calafiori, Gatti, Mancini, Bastoni, these are all very good names, but can they bring
Bastoni is a very good defender, but again, top
club
at that level.
Club form to to the national team or not? That's the major thing, and we are not sure. We haven't seen enough of that. So Italy is still a side in progress, but there is hope because there is trust in Spalletti from the group. Okay, that brings us to Albania. Uh, Albania has players from pretty good sides. I mean, you cannot really, you say that there is Armando Broja from Chelsea who's playing for Fulham. You have Lazio's Elcid Hisaj. We have Etrid Berisha from Empoli. Atlanta's Berat Jim City. Jim City was the captain of Atlanta, which won the Europa League. So there are quite a few players in there who have been there and done that. But do you think they can avoid the wooden spoon in this group?
I don't see Albania getting anything. As you said, they might get a point against Italy, but I don't see Albania doing much in this group because the difference in quality between the three teams in Albania is too big. It's far too big. And there are enough players in all those other three teams who can turn up against Albania and get a result. So I don't see Albania getting much from this. They are going to finish at the bottom and probably without no points.
Another thing that I wanted to talk about is that do you think that this group will produce a third placed finish at all?
Yes, I guess because Albania is one of those teams everyone's going to beat. So that's 3 points. I believe Italy will win against Albania. So one of those teams that banking 3 points. So you need another point, maybe another point to be amongst one of those third base teams. So yeah, this group can produce a third base team.
Yeah, so why I'm saying this is that if you look at last year, there were the third place teams, 3 were with 3 points, 1 win, and 3 were with 4 points, with 1 win and 1 draw. So you could, be in that position to qualify. The teams that did not qualify from the third place group, they had a goal difference of negatives. Now, if there is a result in all the matches instead of a draw, let's say there is a result in Spain, Croatia, there is a result in Italy, Spain, there is a result in Italy, Croatia, whichever way. Do you think that will probably bring down the chances of the third place team qualifying? Because I feel that if there are close draws, 1-1, 0-0 draws, then the goal difference overall will probably be brought down. So it may be that this group doesn't have a third place team.
No, even if there's a result, I don't believe there is going to be a 3-0 or a 3-1. Each game is going to be very close. So I do not see a negative goal difference really affecting any of this team because, and then all of these teams have a chance of really getting a 3-0 or 4-0 against Albania and get their goal difference up early. For example, Italy could, if Italy turn up on the first game, they get a 3-0 or a 4-0, they get their goal difference up really big. From that point, getting into a negative goal difference would take some amount of really bad football. To be honest.
Right.
So yeah, I don't see that happening in this.
Okay. So what's your prediction for this group?
Spain, Italy, Croatia will finish third.
Okay. I say Spain, Croatia, Spain, Italy, top 2. Croatia, number 3, Albania, number 4. And it will be a tough fight for Croatia to be one of those third place teams. But I agree completely with that group format. Okay. So that was about groups A and B preview. We will be back soon with the previews for the other groups. Stay tuned and keep subscribing to our channel. Keep sharing this video to your friends and let us know what you want us to cover in our next set of videos. With that, we come to a close here. Thank you. Thanks.